Good afternoon, and welcome to another laughable version of Diatribes from the voice of Doom. Now here's your lambasting and laconic host, Voice of Doom. Hello. Alright, well, I figured I'd do another diatribe for the sake of my fan. I had my last day of work on Friday, and it was an interesting night. And my stalwart and most faithful supporter came in for dinner, Mick. And it was nice to see him. And I think we're going to probably end up being friends for real in person, because we like each other and he's a good guy. And we might even do something on this here Diatribes channel. We'll see what happens. But Nick was telling me when I saw him that he was just, he looks forward to my stuff every day, and he's disappointed when I don't do anything, which is nice. If there's one person out there that likes it, then I'm going to keep on going, I guess, because, it's good catharsis for me. Get things off my chest, get my opinion out, get things on the record, and just talk about the current state of affairs and how we're basically doomed. And the election and the results and the what we're seeing now politically probably will not change that. In fact, it may make it come faster, because someone's stirring up the pot and someone's poking and hitting at a hornet's nest. And nothing good can come of it as far as peace and tranquility. I'm not talking war, I'm talking about internecine strife. I'm talking about how powerful do you have to be before you are shielded or protected or above the grasp of the deep state elites who want things the way they want them. So that's a question to ponder. But I've got a runny nose today. I'll talk about a few things. Another thing Nick was telling me is he really likes it when I get angry. And I told him it's kind of hard to get angry now that Petri dish is out of office, because with him and his ilk in charge of the government and the media, it was easy to get angry almost every day. Sometimes I didn't get outraged, but there's a few times where I did. Because after a while you just give up and say, some people are above the law and they will get away with whatever they get away with and live very nicely with many houses and all the amenities. And they can go out on a boat, or they can eat well, or whatever they do, without fear of any reprisal against their criminal activities. So when they say no one is above the law, don't believe that. And we all know it's not true, because many, many, many more politicians would be in prison if no one was above the law. And high mucky mucks would be in prison until they commit suicide. I won't mention names, but that's one of the things I'm a little bit miffed about, because we can adulate, we can rejoice the decisive win by Orangy, which, basically you get over 50% and it's considered a rout. Now, I know he got a lot of electoral votes, and I know that he won all the swing states, which is pretty unheard of. And I know that the Congress and the Supreme Court are basically on the right side of the spectrum. But it's not a huge majority. It's still very hard to get things done as far as Congress goes because it's such a close, quorum. It's 51, 52 to 49, whatever. It's very easy for a few goppers to be traitorous by actually voting the way they want to vote and throwing things into disarray. It's been done over and over again, and it's maddening. It's done with the Affordable Care Act. When Roberts decided, yeah, it's okay. It's a tax, so it's totally fine to have that. And when people like McCain voted the wrong way because he was a rhino and he didn't like anything, whatever. We can go through history where, Republicans have... There's been a few, odd men out that changes everything. 2 or 3 of them can stymie the progress. Whereas Democrats are all very much like a North Korean army, where they're all in lockstep, and if anybody is off by 1/2 of a millimeter, then you will be taken out and shot. So they all march together. All right, that's fine. We all know that. But I'm just saying that, what is it? March 2nd? Okay. So Orangy took office January 20th. And he was getting stuff done before he got in, and he was getting stuff done after he got in. And now that his cabinet is in place, they're getting more stuff done. But I am not going to be a cheerleader. The bloom is off the rose, and everybody knows it. For all of Orangy's good intentions, there's a lot of things that he can't predict, and there's a lot of things that he can't get done, and there's a lot of things that they get ahead of their skis, I guess you call it, where they promise stuff and don't come through. We're going to be transparent. We're going to get to the bottom. Same old platitudes that you'd never see. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Well, you'll never get to the bottom, because there is no bottom. People have to be held accountable. They never are. Never. Once in a while, they pick somebody out of the blue to use as an example. Menendez or whatever his name is. I don't know what's become of his trial, but I'm sure he will be fine. And he'll pay a fine, and it won't be as much as he stole. But they have a few politicians, Blagojevich or whoever, that they decide, well, we'll make examples of them so we show how egalitarian we are. The politicians and governors can go to jail too. But not near enough. And many, many people have to go to jail. Many bureaucrats have to go to jail. People that had no idea that they would spend their twilight years in prison because of years of malfeasance. And it should happen. I don't care. You don't have to have prisons where they have to worry about other inmates doing atrocities to them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a low-security prison. It's bad enough to lose your freedom, but you don't have to be scared all the time. That doesn't seem fair. The whole prison system has to be redone. They have their own little fiefdoms and colonies in those prisons. They either have to reform it so that people can't be raping each other, or just kill them all. You're all going to be executed. Everybody here. Doesn't matter what you did. And I would endorse that. But it might be unjust for a few people, but that's just the way it goes. That's karma. You don't worry about the injustices that might happen. But let's go on with how Orangy is not working out, or things aren't working out quite the way he wanted. Okay, for one thing, you can install a head of the FBI, and you can install an attorney general, and you can install a treasurer and a secretary of the Treasury. And then when they want to get to the bottom of what's going on with what still is the U.S. fiscally, they're not allowed to, or legally, or anything else. It's like, yeah, you're the head of this department, but you're not going to get access to this information. Because of these damn bureaucrats. And they got to start getting tough with these people and say, look, you either hand over those documents unredacted right now or we'll execute you. So either hand them over or we're going to put a bullet in your head. And I think a lot of people would endorse it. It sounds draconian. It sounds like, something from the ISIS. But, you got to take a few of their good ideas. So they need to be taken to task. It's like, I'm the Attorney General. I'm the head of the FBI. We're both walking into your office. We want this crap. Oh, you can't have it. Well, all right. Just go get the stuff. Send some guards or whatever and take the files. Take the whole damn office out of there and leave the body. Now, there's been a few times already that they've promised things and they're not delivering. And it doesn't have to do with balancing the budget. It has to do with, we're going to get down to the bottom of these drones. They never did. They gave a half-assed 2-sentence thing and then just passed it off like that's the explanation. And it wasn't adequate. So that was right away they did that. Now this Epstein thing, how many politicians and celebrities and people that are held in high esteem are guilty of pedophilia? I don't know. But if you start releasing all those names and we realize that many stalwart and vaunted individuals who we have held in high esteem, who we have pictures of in Washington, D.C., I won't say who, or people that are big stars that people, admire as a, you're a image, whatever, a role model. And suddenly they find evidence that this person was dilly-dallying around on Epstein Island. Now, they should be jailed. And that's just the way it is. But they were half-assed about their big release, but they touted it as something big. There's going to be so many shoe drops or whatever. There's going to be so many big news coming out that it's going to be amazing, and you're going to see that we're open and we're honest. And then when Bondi comes out, she's like, well, they won't give me the files. It's like, we already said there was going to be bombshells before you had the bombshells, assuming that you would have the bombshells. So don't do that. It's getting you in trouble. Now, I'm already at 14 minutes. I'm really rambling. I'm sorry. But I'll talk more. Orangy is the art of the deal. He is the great deal maker, yes. But he thinks, perhaps, that he can predict how everyone is going to behave when he does his deals. That's kind of like being a lawyer. Don't ask a question you don't know the answer to. Well, don't make a deal you don't know how it's going to come out. So Zelensky, and it's like, well, we give you hundreds of billions of dollars, and we want something for our money when this war ends. Which is blatant colonialism, it's blatant exploitation, it's blatant imperialism, but it's fair. It's like we give you all this money and we get nothing in return but dead bodies and shrapnel. And then the D's, like Jessica and the Five, blatant imperialists, say, well, all that money we give to Ukraine is coming back to us to buy weapons. So she's firmly in the camp of the military-industrial. We give them the money, they buy our weapons, they blow each other up, and someone makes money along the way, but there's no value created. So that's disgusting, and all of them should be keel-hauled. But so Zelensky is a brat, and he's like, you have no diplomacy, you have no plan, you want to negotiate with Putin, he's so bad, you shouldn't do that. And it's like, well, we either negotiate with him or you keep dying. And to say that Orangy is diplomatic is to say a dog is a cat. He's not. He's not going to speak softly and carry any kind of a stick. He's going to speak loud and sarcastic, and he's going to boot you the hell out of there. So Zelensky is bratty about, and basically he wants more money and he wants more support, and he's being petulant about it. And then Orangy's petulant. Well, you didn't say thank you. It's like, I'll give you an example. Say I loan my buddy $100 and he says I'll pay you back when I get paid, and payday comes and I don't get it. Or let's just say you make a loan and then you keep on lording it over him. You didn't thank me for that 100. Well, I thanked you when you got it. Well, you haven't thanked me again. You haven't thanked me lately. Come on. I'm talking about World War and they're talking about, oh, you didn't say thanks. So that's childish nonsense. So they got to get it together. Orangy is not prepared for the unexpected when he already has things planned out. We'll give you money, you give us rare earths, and we have American corporations over there taking out those self-same minerals. And then, by virtue of them being there, it will be de facto protection, as if they were in NATO, which doesn't always work out because the contractors are corrupt too. Of course they are. But then Zelensky becomes petulant, and he wasn't ready for that, Orangy. It was like we were going to have a deal and it was going to be great. And it's like, well, you didn't have a deal. And Orangy's very, gregarious and very reasonable and says, when he wants to talk peace, then he can come back. And peace is a dirty word to the D's. I remember on the old days, it was always give peace a chance. All we are saying. That was the thing. Everybody was in the street, busting up, throwing bricks through windows to try to achieve peace. And they were peaceniks. They were hippies. They were liberals. Dirty liberals. They didn't want us to win in Vietnam. Who wanted peace and had peace-ins and peace marches. Now you say, I want peace, and they say, and the same hippies, no, Ukraine has to win. Ukraine has to beat Russia. It's not, I don't know what they're thinking. They're blind. They're not sentient human beings. All right, and in conclusion, hey, cat, get out of there. Every time I leave the bathroom door open, that cat has to drink from the toilet. It's sickening. I leave him water. So, last thing I want to say is, I don't watch CNN, I don't watch MSNBC, and I don't watch any of those channels that are just going to infuriate me by their idiocy. But I do get to watch them when Fox or someplace else, other outlets, Liberal Hive Mind or what have you, play snippets of their idiocy, or Sky News or Megyn Kelly. And I'm very happy that cultural appropriator, racist pile of feces is gone from MSNBC, and I hope her podcast is cast into the Pacific Ocean at the deepest part, because I don't like her, and I'm glad she got fired, and I'm glad she was crying. I wish she'd cry more, because she's an evil entity. She's a demon, and she thinks she's good, so whatever. Issue 1 on that. Issue 2, alright. My name is Jake Tapper, and I will tell you right now that Joseph Robinette Biden is one of the most brilliant presidents. There is no evidence whatsoever of his mental decline. And anyone suggesting a cover-up is a right-wing conspirator, dangerous to democracy. He just wrote a book documenting the cover-up of the decline of the mental acuity of Petri dish. Now, I don't even want to talk about the impunicity. It's the baldest hypocrisy I've ever seen. I mean, that I've ever seen, and I don't mince words. I don't use words lightly. I've never seen anyone who can perpetrate fraud and lies, and then after it's all over, write a book about those self-same fraud and lies and how it came about. So he needs to go to the gallows, along with a lot of those other people, but I'll leave it there. I've already gone too long, but it was not bad. I got in a bunch of stuff there. So, thanks, Nick, for keeping me going, and I'll try to keep on commenting on the atrocities. Goodbye, everybody.